Hey guys, welcome to the vlog, and it's Saturday, May 13th, 2023 at 12:53 p.m. So I'm about to start reading for the day, and we are going to go through the list of books that I plan to be reading this week. I have no idea what I'm titling the vlog or anything like that, so I don't think there's any giveaways in the title, so let's see here. The first book is my short story collection that I'm reading, and that is The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. We'll talk more about that later in this clip. Then my 5-star prediction, this is my TBR pick for this week, is The Medici by Mary Hollandsworth. Usually I wouldn't pick this up on a Saturday, but I didn't get to read any of this yesterday because it is race week here, so it's just very hectic and busy, so I didn't have time to pick this up yesterday, but I have all the time in the world today, so definitely going to be picking that up. Then we have my buddy read, which is filling in for my mood reading this week, and I should be finishing it today, and that is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And lastly, we have my ebook pick, which I do have a physical copy of, but with mass market paperback, I like to just go to the ebook. I'm sure y'all understand, but that is Beach Music by Pat Conroy. I started this last night, but let's talk about the book that I'm about to get into, with that being The Last Wish. So this is the first installment in the Witcher series, the video game. I'm not sure if book or video game came out first, but by reading this, I feel like it's the video game because some of the stuff in here, I'm like, I feel like I should know this lore, but I don't. I don't know what some of these mythical creatures are. I don't know these locations. And it's just kind of confusing for me. I feel like you need to go into this having that background knowledge, because the only Witcher thing I knew before reading this, I've watched the first episode of the show and I hated it. I hated the editing, and yeah, it just wasn't for me, because I was like, Game of Thrones at the time where I watched this, I was like, that is fantasy at its best. HBO is the best channel there is on TV, so but yeah, now House of the Dragon, you have to top House of the Dragon, all TV, not just fantasy. So I wasn't really a huge fan of the one episode of the show that I saw, but I have only heard good things about the book series, but I only heard that this book is not great, the short story collection, but the books that are actual novels are really good. So, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so that's what I've been reading. So basically what this is about, there is Geralt, who is a witcher. A witcher is somebody who hunts monsters to protect humans. So that is what he's doing, and that's basically what every short story in here is him going after another monster. So it does, once you've read quite a few, I'm on the 6th one now, which this is a 320-page book. It does get kind of repetitive, and it kind of reminds me of King Arthur. I had to DNF King Arthur because that one was over 500 pages, and I felt like every story in there was the same. As just different knights, different damsels, same story, having to save the damsel in distress. So yes, but since this is a series, I am going to try to finish this, because I've heard great things about the book series. There's all of them right there, by the way. And this is translated. I actually have no idea who the translator is. Danusha Stock. So if I'm saying that wrong, there it is on there. But I'm going to get into this now. And when I read my short story collection, I do the bicycle. So I'm going to exercise at the same time. It's 4 o'clock, a little later than I would have liked to get into reading the Medici for the day. Just again, this week is so hectic, but we only have one more day, so yeah. I did go out to the track. Like, you'll saw the clip. Just driving around the area and all of that, because I did not go to any race this year. Just not a week for me to be able to do that. But there's only the September race and I need to hydrate. Okay, so The Medici by Mary Hollandsworth. I am doing the audiobook, but I am following along in the physical book as well. This isn't over 500 pages, but I do audiobooks for nonfiction picks because I find it easier. Of course, this man starts talking when I start vlogging, like. So this book is all about the Medici family from its start, like literally when they were in the country before they even came to Florence, and goes all the way to the demise of the main family, because I'm sure they have descendants today. That's just, I'm sure of it. So I know a lot about the time that the Netflix show showed, because I feel like that's like when they were at their peak. So a lot of other nonfiction is about that era, and that just seems to be the more well-known era, which makes sense. So from like Cosimo to Lorenzo il Magnifico are the ones that I know the most about. So reading about that part of before, and then I haven't got to the after yet, is going to be super interesting, and I can't wait to see what is there. So I'm going to read for the next hour in the Medici. Hey guys, I know you're kind of crooked. It's just because my desk has plates all on it because I ate. I just finished watching the movie Air, which is about how Nike got Michael Jordan to sign with them. It was a great movie, loved it. 4 out of 5. Like, it just didn't hit that 5-star level, but it was still great. Like, I'm really starting to trust Matt Damon and Ben Affleck with movies, because The Last Duel, which I'm pretty sure that was their last movie that they did before this one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. So trust them. But I am going to be getting into After I Do Know and finishing it. So if you want to know like what this book is about and my thoughts on it, do be sure to check out last week's vlog. And then I am going to be writing a book review that I will leave linked down below. Okay, so for my ebook, I am reading Beach Music, as I said earlier. So this is a contemporary. I say that loosely as it is based in 1985, but it is a book that spans multi-generations. So just for right now, we are in the 1980s. So this man's wife, what is the man's name? Jack. Okay, so his wife commits suicide by jumping off a bridge, and after that there's a big custody battle between Jack and his wife's family, and he ends up winning the custody battle, and he takes the daughter to Italy to get away from the wife's family, to get away from his family, because he does not want his daughter to have like the toxic childhood that he had. So it's then we have the wife's family is trying to make contact with him to say why the wife died or why she committed suicide, and they are wanting to just reconnect. And this is just going through this man's search for peace after his wife passed, and raising his daughter and all of that. So that is what I'm reading. This is my third Pat Conroy, and something that I noticed, South Abroad was the first one I read and I loved it. It was a 5 out of 5. And then I read The Prince of the Tides, is that what it's called? So that was still a great book, but I realized he was reusing the same tropes, and they were kind of like traumatic tropes. And that just kind of, I was like, it's basically every book is the same. Like, is this going to be the same exact thing? I do not know. But I really liked that there was an author's note at the front. Oh my. A student gave my grandma this book, and then she gave it to me. I did not know this. And this was, I think, her last year of teaching. Yeah. This was for her retirement. Oh my gosh. I did not realize that. So it's super sweet of the student to give my grandma this book. But yeah, there was a note to the reader about, because I think the character, the wife who commits suicide was Jewish, or I think, I could be wrong on that. I just know that the family, her parents, were in concentration camps, and the author gives a note at the start saying of all the research and people who helped him, that being like the Atlanta Jewish Community Center, the Children of Holocaust Survivors Atlanta, the Northern California Holocaust Center, like those kind of things, all helping the author to make sure that he got that right, because obviously not everybody has gone through a concentration camp. So I think it really does make sense to go talk to people who have gone through this experience and make sure what you're writing is what it was really like, and not to glamorize or not to make it something that it wasn't. So I think that was really good of the author to do that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take this to my grandma's house tomorrow and be like, did you know this when you gave this to me, that a student gave it to you? So I'm going to read about 5% now, which will get me to 10%, but I did want to update y'all. I am loving the writing in this, so it's fantastic. Hey guys, happy Sunday. Let me get the date on here. When's this computer loads up? I did get my new computer today, but I don't have it set up yet or anything like that. So it is May 14th, 2023 at 4:08 p.m. Just 8. Yeah, so it is race day, like the big race day, you know, the 400. And that's the thing. I'm not personally a fan of big speedways. I like short tracks. And I like the occasional super speedway. Like Darlington isn't a super speedway, but it's still, like, to me, a pretty big track. They're not like my thing, but it's still like, this is my hometown track. But what I was getting to is that for me, so personally with Darlington, for the races I've been to most recently there, I've been to a truck race and I've been to an Xfinity race, and those races are shorter in length, like not as many laps as the 400, because it's 400 miles that they're going today, I think. Yeah, 400 miles. And so obviously driving 400 miles takes a lot longer than driving 200 miles. But so I don't like to go to the cup races here just because they are so long. So that's why, like, last year I went to a cup race in Martinsville. And then I did go to the Indy 500, which the Indy 500, oh my gosh, it's awesome. Totally recommend going. Which I do think everybody should go to Darlington once, because it is such a historic track. So if you are somebody who is into motorsports, I definitely recommend going. But I'm just somebody who's been there so many times. I don't think I have to go every year, at least for that main race. Will I go in the fall? I do not know yet. Yeah, you never know what might happen, because that is in peak hurricane season. But yeah, right now I have no tickets to anything at all. Concerts, races, sport events, nothing. So like, I have a free plate right now. Sorry, this paper fell off my desk, so that's what I was looking at. But I am about to start a new book, and that is The Call of the Wrens by Jenny L. Walsh. This is my new mood reading pick. This is a historical fiction. So during the Great War, which is World War I, we have Marion, who, she was an orphan, and so she spent her childhood without a true home, but she found that in the Great War by joining the Women's Royal Naval Service. So just being with a group of women, found family, that kind of thing. And so she found purpose in her work. And then come 20 years later, roughly, we have the start of World War II and kind of getting the band back together and getting this group of women back together to be working during World War II. So that is what I am starting. This is a new release, at least in the United States. It might have come out in other places first, because as you can see, it is paperback that I have here and bought this year. Where's the little, do they have a section about the author? They have a note from the author, but yeah, so I don't know anything about this author. Oh, okay, here's about the author. Went to Villanova, and it's from Philadelphia. So yeah, she's written several books, so definitely if I like this, I will have to look into those, because we know I love historical fiction, but I'm going to be starting it now. Okay, nightly update. So I just got done reading for the day. I only read 55 pages, which obviously I would have liked to read more than that. I would have liked to read like 45 more pages than that, but it was race day here, so I did watch the NASCAR race, and then I watched, or at least attempted to watch, the private jets leaving, but none of them flew over my house. So let's talk about this. Not really, but I did leave out a point of view. I didn't realize there was a second point of view that is in the 20 years later plot line, which is Evelyn, who is, so she was born with a disability, so that held her back a lot of her childhood, like because she was having to like wear a brace and have surgeries and all of that. So her parents really like held her back, were very protective of her. But now that she is an adult, she is getting to do things that she wants. One of them is being a race car driver, which is super cool. And to think of that being in the late 1930s, I never really thought of female race car drivers being a thing that far back. And this is in England, so it's cool to see what racing was like in the 1930s and then in England, because I don't really know a lot about the racing industry over there. So that's been cool to see, but I am liking our 1914 plot more, but I am really liking both. I am loving this setting. Like, this is like exactly what I've been wanting to read, so that is super exciting. But I'm going to see how many pages I read in total this week. I didn't get to over 200 pages any day this week, but I didn't last week either, so shouldn't beat myself up about that. But I need to do that, and then I need to edit what I have of this vlog so far. But I hope you guys had a happy Mother's Day if y'all celebrate today, because I know different countries do different days, but I hope y'all had a happy one, and I will see y'all sometime later. So for the vlog, because it's been an afternoon for me, like at home and working, all that was fine. But so I got the new computer, as I told y'all about, and it's Monday the 15th at 6:01 p.m. So I do need to get reading. But so I got the new computer, tried to set it up, and basically none of my stuff is compatible with it. So I spent like $200, but I have to see how you do returns on Amazon, because I'm not going to be using that. So we went to Best Buy. Dude's there in the Apple, got me all set up. So hopefully I'm getting an Apple computer, which is a lot more money, but it's been one of my dreams in life, is to have a big Mac, to have a Mac desktop. I've always wanted one, so I think that might be happening. So I'm definitely just gonna have to see for streaming and all that, if that is a good way to go with that, because that's what I want. I want to play video games, and I know Mac laptops aren't great at video games, but I will try the desktop. Or obviously I'm gonna research first before making any like final decisions or anything. But yeah, so I was really frustrated trying to set up the one and finding out that nothing was compatible. Like, I would have to go out and buy new speakers, buy new keyboard, buy a new mouse. Like, I really don't want to do that. So with Apple, I talked with the guy, seeing what is compatible and what isn't for an Apple computer, and that would be really nice, just to have all my technology be an Apple, because my laptop is Apple, I have an iPhone and all of that, so it would just be really nice to have everything under the same brand. But yeah, it's just only those computers have just been so expensive, so it's like, do you want to bite the bullet to do it? But I have read The Last Witch today, and I have been reading Medici, and I'm about to get back into it. You can see it on my bed back there. So I am going to get into reading that, get into listening. But yeah, I can't wait to be able to video game again. Something fell. I don't know what fell, but something fell. Oh, this. Was that it? No, I don't know. Something fell, but so I need to go get all this together. And guys, happy Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 at 3:43 p.m. I just did a ton of stuff. I cleaned my bathroom, kind of took a few pieces out of my closet that I want to donate, but I did get some book mail today. So, and I have read today too, but we're not going to talk about that yet. So, ooh, this is like her shortest book ever. So this is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, who is one of my favorite fantasy writers. I'm not even sure if this is fantasy. So, white lies, dark humor, Deadly Consequences. Best-selling sensation Juniper Song is not who she says she is. She didn't write the book she claims she wrote, and she is most certainly not Asian American. This chilling and hilariously cutting novel from the #1 New York Times bestseller, R.F. Kuang. So, authors June Hayward and Athenia. Why can I say Athenia? Oh my gosh, the Greek goddess. That's how you say it, right? Athena, that's how you say it. Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars, but Athena's literary darling, June Hayward, is literally nobody who wants stories about basic white girls, June thinks. So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers during World War I. So what if June edits Athena's novel and sends it to her agent as her own work? So what if she lets her new publisher rebrand her as Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguous ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told, whoever the teller? That's what June claims, and the New York Times bestseller list seems to agree. But June can't get away from Athena's shadow, and emerging evidence threatens to bring June's stolen success down from her. As June races to protect her secret, she discovers exactly how she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. So this is like completely different from R.F. Kuang's other books. I've only read the Poppy War trilogy, which is one of my like all-time favorite fantasy series. Totally recommend picking it up. And then Babel, which is one of my 5-star predictions I plan to get to sometime this summer. But this is like not really fantasy. Like this is contemporary literary fiction, I guess. Maybe, I feel like, because it said like she witnesses a girl die, so I'm like, is that like thriller involved too? But I saw R.F. Kuang was putting out a new book, so obviously I had to buy it immediately. And she puts out these books fast, so I mean, shout out to her, because it would take me years and years to write and publish books and all of that fun stuff. So cannot wait to pick that up. There was another book that I pre-ordered by Emma Cline, The Guest, but I'm not supposed to get it till like in 10 days from now, so I don't know what's up with that, because I saw that it's at Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, I pre-ordered it. Why is Amazon not sending it till next week? I don't know. So I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm about to go get some Mexican food, because like I love Mi Tierra. That's the place I go. Love them, and cannot wait to pick all that up. But yeah, I am like, I'm worn out. I just cleaned and did a ton of stuff, so I will check back in with y'all. Okay guys, so I got to 26% in the Call of The Wrens, and yeah, I'm still loving it. It's definitely a 4-star. I don't think this would be a new favorite, but I do love it. And it just, if you like Call the Midwife, I highly recommend this, because there's so many of the characters are reminding me of characters on Call the Midwife. So Evelyn reminds me of Chummy, then Sarah reminds me of Trixie, and then who is our main girl? What is her? Marion reminds me of like a mix of Jenny, kind of being like the new girl, and then Nurse Miller. What is her name? Cynthia? Yeah, like they just, I'm like, has the author watched that show? Because they just all give off those vibes. But I did not get into beach music last night because my phone was not charged, and I am doing an ebook, so you kind of need your phone to be charged. I definitely could have used the iPad, and I totally just forgot I could do that, but I will begin into beach music tonight. But I hope y'all had a happy Tuesday. Like, it's not a holiday, but like, I hope you had a happy Tuesday, because like, why not? Yeah, it's just been a very tame afternoon. Like, I got Mexican food, ate that, and I've just been pretty tired. But as I told y'all last week was race week, and I'm always really tired the week after, so that's just how it is around here. And I still, like, with no hockey on TV, I'm like, what do I do with my time? That comes back Thursday, though. I'm not going to this series, which is sad. It's just because tickets were so expensive. I didn't want to spend that much money. It's not my money. My dad didn't want to spend the money. Yeah. Why am I whispering? I don't know. Look at those eyelashes. Beautiful. My desk has books all on it, so I can't put y'all down. So I'm holding the tripod, and there is the time. It's 4:44. On the, what is today? It doesn't say. May 17th, Wednesday. So I just got back from Target. I only got like 2 things that aren't groceries. So the first thing I got is some Honest Beauty vitamin C serum. This is the stuff I swear by. If I'm not wearing makeup, this is all that I have on my face, and it just makes me glow. And I think it's been the best thing for my face, I don't have any on right now because I ran out, so I only have like retinol and then like other stuff like moisturizer and all, but vitamin C is where it's at. And then I got Emily Henry's new book, Happy Place. I have no idea what it's about. It's just, I loved her last book, so I was like, I'm buying this book. And this has only at Target bonus content, which is awesome. So this is Harriet and Wynn, W-Y-N, have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls, except now for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. So this is another book kind of like After I Do, where it's a relationship that isn't working out, which again I think is so important because everyone's been there, right? No, not everybody. I know some people who like stay with the same person forever, but yeah, I just think it's just because, as I said, not every relationship works out, so it's important to show that in books to make it seem like, yeah, it is okay, and even if it's not working out, you can communicate and make things work. Even though for me, I'm like, if it's not working out, I don't believe in second chance romance. I don't, but yeah, I have been reading Medici today. It's right there and I should be finishing it. I literally only have like 9 minutes left of the audiobook. I am so sweaty from just doing groceries. Yeah, I just want it to rain so bad. It hasn't rained in weeks and I'm just like, the dry weather is not good for my sinuses, and I want rain so bad. And it says it's gonna rain every day, and then it doesn't. Like, it was cloudy when I was out reading it earlier. I'm like, please, 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 but it never did. So I'll update y'all when I finish Medici. I didn't edit any of the video last night like I was supposed to. I just didn't feel like it. I just wanted to read. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna probably edit tonight since I don't read tonight. I finished my first book of the week, and y'all know I want to finish like 2 books a week, so we're halfway there. I finished The Medici by Mary Hollandsworth. This was a 5-star prediction for me, but I ended up giving it a 4-star. I loved it, but it just didn't hit that top level 5-star quality. And I'm looking at this, Goodreads was glitching so bad on my phone. I was saying there's like no room to do this, and I'm like, I literally have space on my phone. Like, why is it saying this? So I went on the website. So hopefully it's marking it finished. Let me look here. Like, I'm hoping it counted it towards my Goodreads goal, because if it didn't, I'll be really mad. Okay, it looks like it counted it, and now it's clicking a whole other book. Sophia Challenge. So yeah, I've read 57 books this year, and so I'm 53% of the way to my goal. But let's talk about the Medici. So this is a really heavy book, so I'm not going to be holding it up. So I definitely did learn a lot about the Medici. And so I only knew about like Cosimo the Elder and then Lorenzo the Magnificent, to say it in English, but I only really knew about their time periods being like the head of the family. I didn't know about the rise of the family, and I didn't know about basically the extinction of the family. So there was a lot that I didn't know. I didn't know the majority of it, so I was learning a lot of new stuff. And even for the time periods I did know stuff about, I was learning new things. But I do think this book might be dense for some. It did get dense for me at times, so I do think if you do not know a lot about this time period, if you don't know a lot about this family, definitely do just read a little bit at a time. Don't, you know, trudge through to read it all in a certain amount of time. I didn't have a set time frame that I wanted to read this book in. I just read it. So I do think that is ideal to do that, is just to read it at your own pace. Do not try to speed through it, or a lot of it is just going to go right over your head. So I did enjoy it. I learned a lot. I do feel like it kind of skipped over some things, like when it mentioned somebody dying, and I'm like, wait, when did Constantina die? Like that kind of thing. But I did enjoy it. I did love it, and it just brought back so many memories of going to Italy, memories of the show Medici, just a lot of good memories, because yeah. And then even in America, I was in Cincinnati on this day in 2019. I don't know how many years ago that was, but was that 4 years ago? I went to Cincinnati literally just to go to one of the reasons to go to the Cincinnati Art Museum to see paintings by Botticelli. Botticelli was funded by the Medici, and then I've gone to the National Art Gallery in DC to see stuff about the Medici. So I've done a lot because of them, and they just, It really sparked my love for history, or one of the reasons I love history. So I did have a really good time with this book. It is a new day. It is Thursday, May 18th at 3:46 p.m. I just started a new book, but this is kind of a reread. So I read The Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Umeska Orsi. Totally butchering that. I think it was Hungarian. I read this book in high school and I liked it when I read it in high school. So, but there's that thing of reading a book and being tested on it, and then reading a book just for enjoyment. I think you go in with different headspaces. And so that is why, sorry for my voice, but that is why I love reading books that I read in school, just to see how the experience differs, especially as an adult versus a teenager. Because I read this probably in like 2014, maybe sometime 2014, 2015. So nearly 10 years, and that is quite a while. And I think with any book, not just like The Hunger Games, say I read The Hunger Games over 10 years ago, I think I would have such a different view on it reading it now as an adult than when I was a teenager. So I do think that it is something special, something fun. And as I said, I did like this book at the time, and I do think it was one of my entryways to historical fiction. So let me tell you what this book is about. So at least from my understanding so far, because I've only read like 2 chapters, I read the introduction, that kind of thing. So I'm like 20 some pages into it. This is during the French Revolution. So a lot of aristocrats are being killed, being sent to the guillotine, because the French didn't want those people in charge anymore. And so we have the Scarlet Pimpernel, who is helping these French people get to England for safety. And I think he is kind of a spy as well. So that is kind of my really basic understanding. I could be wrong because there's no description on the back of the book. All this is just the enriched classic edition includes a concise introduction that gives readers an important background of information, like saying everything that includes. But the short description is the swashbuckling adventure tale of heroism, love, and revenge set against the sweeping chaos of the French Revolution. And in the introduction, it talked about how this book was kind of like a stepping stone for like the superhero stories we have today, and like spy stories we have today, like movies. And I thought that was really interesting to think about. I think obviously like the stories of the ancient Greeks, you know, the ancient Greek gods and Beowulf, and like those were really like the first steps. But this is another step of getting to that modern Marvel, DC Comics, that kind of thing that is so prevalent in our society. And another thing is this was written during Victorian times, and as I was saying, the author, this whole time I thought was British because I didn't remember the author's name. And then when I bought this, I saw the name. I was like, that does not look like an English name. And the writer is from, or was from, at that time, what was Hungary. It might still be Hungary, not sure. Because it was the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So she is kind of an outsider looking in at this. And when she was trying to get this book published in 1905, a lot of English publishers didn't want to do it because the French, and you know, the English and French don't really like each other. So that was just kind of interesting seeing some of that background that I probably did know when I learned about it in school, but again, it has been so long. But yeah, as I said, I liked it in school, so, but I do think I could get such a better understanding now, just being older and being smarter than I was back then. And obviously I think anytime you reread something, you get a better understanding the more you read something. But that is my little update. I will talk to y'all. How many times has she walked to the store and walked out? Like, was anybody counting? Whoa, my hair. But to let y'all know, it finally rained, and that's fantastic. But I'm going to be ending the vlog here. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. If you made it all the way through this video, leave a rain emoji in the comments below. Bye!